So I thought I'd show this. Look how long the bubble coral tentacles are. They were just reaching to the Ghani. Now I just fed the tank AB plus. Look at that. See, normally his tentacles don't come out until night and they're short, but look at how long those are out. It's all from feeding the tank. As you can see, the tank's a little green. That's the AB plus. I also have my return pump turned down to 1% so it stays in here. Bam, but look at that. Isn't that crazy? Also, my clownfish has found that anemone, this anemone, and now he has found that anemone. That one climbed up from right here all the way up to there. The par rating's only 65. I really need to get another XR30 light because these 15s just don't put out a lot of par. So for example, I've got two XR15s, 130. So from here to here, except for in the middle where it's blocked with this brace under here, is 120 par, right? And as soon as you get in the territory of the 15, it's only 65 par. Same over here, 65 par, well, except these are making shadows, but up here, 65 par. Aim right there, 65 par. Back there, 65 par. That's at 55% output. Usually I run the XR15s at 85%, but with one XR30 tied into them that's running the same schedule and intensity, puts out twice as much par. So I really need to get rid of those XR15s and get XR30, but they are $1,000. So, and I want to replace all my MP40s. Anyone? Oh man, he was in there. I just turned that on. These Powerheads MP40s, they're too big for like a 100-gallon tank or smaller. You need MP10s. I'm running one in the back at 1%, and it's already too powerful. Look at everything moving. Now, this stuff would open more, but it's getting too much current. Now, if I turn this one on, everything just blasts, and they're at 1%. When I set this tank up originally, I wanted two MP10s, and I wanted two XR30s. I'm not going to say who. They're the guys like, no. XR MP40s are what you want, and you can turn them down, and XR15s are all you need. Well, yes, XR15s are all you need, but the middle of your tank is very low light, and it's dark. Like, you wouldn't notice until you unplug that light and see how dark this tank is. So my original setup is what I should have went with, even though I was told otherwise. MP40s are way too powerful for a 75-gallon tank. At least if you have soft coral. Because my coral's blowing everywhere. You can see it all blowing. And it's all blowing in one direction because I only have one pump on. Now, let's say I turn on the other pump, which let me do it right now. Hopefully the fish isn't in there. No, he's right there. He goes in it all the time. It's going to turn on. And now watch how crazy it gets. You see? Look at this. It starts whipping around. This stuff here all closes from the current hitting it. Everything just starts blasting around. Now this is 1% power on both sides. All right? Everything's blasting. So I just leave this one off. It creates too much destruction. But whatever, you know. Right now I can't afford two MP10s. That's 700. That's gonna be almost 700, and then 1,000 for an XR30 light. So I'm just leaving it for now and running the one pump. But at 1%, it can't pulse or do its thing because it's turned down too low. The only coral that's not opening right now is this Ghani. Can't figure out why. That red one there opens up in the daytime, and this one, look at it, it's massive. It's so big. It's like 3-4 inches tall actually. No, it's hard to tell. And there's my clownfish again. So I found out they can see in color. So I was wondering how they find them because we moved his and it took him a while to find it. It took him 1 hour to find it after we moved it. And then he found that one. And then the next day he found that one. And he found all three and he bounces between them all. This one's his favorite. But everything's starting to look good. These frog spawn I got here is like a fluorescent green in the blue light. It is beautiful, way prettier than I expected, because in my other tank it didn't look like that. And in my other tank, that frog spawn was a dark green, and now it's almost a see-through. In person, it's a see-through, completely see-through, and barely any green with purple tips, but on here it looks greener. But in person, it's not, but it is still cool looking. It's super see-through. But this one, I thought was the less pretty one. Turns out, you can't see it on here, but in person, when the blue lights come on heavily in another hour, it is insane, really. My Acan, I just touched these so they're closed, but they were huge. They're as big as, the orange ones are big as they usually are. That big one in the left, its heads are growing crazy. The one next to it has heads growing. This one is, the all shriveled up. Well, he's not bouncing back right. I've had him for 2 years almost now, and he's been through a lot. He's usually open, but he doesn't look like these anymore. He got stressed out a couple times. He never bounced back fully. He opens up, but I just don't get it. But anyways, all my zoanthids are opening. Those are predator zoas, which aren't doing as good as I hoped. They're at an angle. They're not as big as usual. All the zoas in the back haven't got their full color back from the ammonia poisoning. The blasto, though, there in the middle has done really good. It's got, oh, look at that. It's got a fourth head forming. See the two green spots? The one above the little one? That's a fourth head. Yep, I've had that for 6 months, and it grew from one head and a tiny one to 4 now. And in this tank, it's growing really fast. I never saw that head. I couldn't see it before. That's amazing. So my favias are, they're alive. They're alive. They're eating. They're pooping. Their mouths are open. The brain coral, I'm gonna have to soak them. I don't know if you guys know, you can soak them in the AB plus chemical, and it will help bounce them back. This one has no color. It's supposed to be blue and red. And I hope it comes back. When you touch them, they do produce a slime coating, so they are alive. And that one's definitely alive because it's got its flesh back. It just doesn't have its color back. But we'll see what happens. All right, I don't want to ramble on. I didn't even realize I went 8 minutes already. Sorry, guys. I try to keep these short, but there's just so much to talk about. All right, so that's it. Here's a shot from a distance. The tank's still a mess because I threw everything in it. And yes, the green is the food, the AB+. All right, I'll see you next time.